All right, so the question states, where does discipline start? It really feels like a mountain, right? That's a pretty decent question. I mean, that's a pretty decent like perspective, because discipline does feel overwhelming at first, but that's because it's an atrophied muscle for us. All right, we haven't been using that muscle. Discipline is a muscle you build over time, guys. It's not some shit you're born with. Nobody's born with discipline. I don't care what you say. David Goggins wasn't born with discipline. It's something you build over time by continually keeping promises to yourself, like I always say. So keep those promises to yourself. So work on that discipline muscle, man. What are you struggling with? Just tackle one thing at a time. If you keep watching flicks, if you're constantly watching flicks, then guess what? The first thing you need to do if you're constantly watching flicks is, okay, I've watched Corn for the past 2 weeks every day straight. Let me take it day by day and stop watching it. That's one thing. Or I've been eating like shit for the past year. Let me start eating healthy one day at a time. Like, you got to start working these muscles. You got to write down these goals, and you got to start working towards them. That's how you even get discipline, right? A lot of people say, damn, I need discipline. They're not writing anything down. They're not setting any goals. They're just kind of aimlessly going throughout the day. They're like, damn, if I had more discipline. For what? What is your goal? To lose fat? Did you write down how you're going to lose the fat? Are you going to the gym? How many times are you going to go to the gym? You got to write down these commitments. Like, once you write them down, they're set in stone. And then you can read them. And then you have something that you can actually, something tangible to look at, and something that you can strive for. All right, you need some shit to strive for. A lot of y'all don't do that. That's why you're like, yo, I want to get lean. Like, some percent between 8 and 20. That's a big ass range, right? I would like to go to the gym between 2 and 7 times a week. That's a big ass range. I'd like to eat less than 3,000 calories. That's a big ass range. You're not specific enough. Get specific with your fucking goals and actually start going after them. But it's literally one step at a time. A lot of people say they don't have discipline, but they're not even trying. Like, if you're not trying, then Jesus Christ, bro, you're pretty far. The way you become disciplined is you wake up every fucking morning, right? You do shit that you don't always want to do, but that's what you got to do to get to where you want to get to. All right, you wake up every morning with goals on your mind, reading your goals, saying, I'm going to do this because I said I would. You go to the fucking gym even if you don't feel like it, all right? The issue with discipline that I usually see is that people think discipline is related to motivation. You do not need motivation to do shit, all right? No matter how you feel, you can drive, right? Usually when you drive somewhere, like if you're driving to work, you're not doing it because you're motivated. You're doing it because you said you're going to go to work and you're scheduled to go to work. So when you start scheduling and saying you're going to do things such as working out, such as grocery shopping, such as meal prepping, you schedule it and you say you're going to do it, you're going to start doing that shit, all right? You just need to have some more structure, but you need to write down what you actually want. Because like I said, a lot of people, they say they want some shit and they don't write down any goals. They don't have a plan of action to get to it. And then they say they like discipline, but that's not really it. And as far as discipline being a mountain, no one's going to be perfect. So no one's going to execute their morning routine 365 days a year. No one's hitting the gym 365 days a year. No one's eating healthy 365 days a year. But if you just spent 2024, the past fucking year, if last year you ate like absolute shit the entire year, like 90% of the time, that means if you eat good this year 11% of the time, you're already ahead of last year. So that's kind of how you gotta look at shit. You gotta focus on progress, not perfection. Like, most people who quit after trying, they have a certain like perfection mindset. Like, they're chasing perfection, not progress. I don't chase perfection because I'm human, which means I can't be perfect. So I literally just chase progress. I try to be better than I was last year. Always being better than I was last year. Like, if I was 15% body fat last year and I'm trying to get to 10, that means if I'm 12% this year, then I made improvement, significant improvement. That means next year if I'm 10, significant improvement. The year after that I'm 7, significant improvement. If I'm trying to gain 20 pounds of muscle and this year I gained 5, that means I'm 5 pounds closer to my goal. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean I'm going to gain 20 pounds overnight. So another thing with discipline is it stems from a long-term mindset, because you need to be able to delay gratification to be disciplined. Because a lot of times if you go in some shit with false expectations, like you're like, I'm gaining 50 pounds in 2 weeks. If that's your expectations, you're going to be disappointed when you gain, 1 pound and it's like 1 pound of water weight in 2 weeks and maybe half a pound of muscle. You're going to be very disappointed when that happens. But damn, I wanted to gain 50. You went in there with unrealistic expectations. See what I'm saying? So it depends on what you want to apply discipline to. But if you want to apply discipline to all aspects of your life, you got to realize that you got to do shit that you don't always want to do to get to where you want to get to. That's how it works. I don't always want to go to the gym. Guess what? I still fucking go. Right now, my fucking foot is swollen. Guess what? That's not changing shit. I'm still executing everything that I have to execute. Because Nobody fucking cares. Rent is still due on the first. No one gives a shit, bro. Literally, if like no one cares, like, oh, your foot's swollen. Oh, who the fuck cares? Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. Like, so I usually don't even pay attention to shit that I could complain about because it's not gonna help me anyways, right? And it's not gonna give me the right energy towards things that I need. So, as far as like another thing is like discipline is what leads you to everything that you want. Like, it leads you to your goals. You have these goals that you desire so much, like, and they're at the top of the fucking mountain. You have these goals you want so bad, or you say you want so bad. The way to get to them is through discipline. That's the only way to get to them. You got to realize that, all right? And another thing is you're gonna feel really proud of yourself after you execute things that you wrote down and you stay disciplined. You're really gonna feel proud of yourself. So, hey, if you're seeing this, stay disciplined, man. Very, very simple. You got to work the discipline muscle over time. And don't focus on motivation.